On the installation and licensing side, we have 4 topics. First, we want to discuss some general issues around install and licensing. Then we follow up with Windows 7 specific items, licensing in particular, and the final session will be around deployments and permissions. A couple of words on install and licensing in general. I want to make first, or I want to take some time for a publicity spot here actually. We do create regularly videos on YouTube concerning installation and licensing problems, and maybe you don't keep track of those videos. Therefore, I want to point out one very useful location for you where you can see the collection of all these videos. So I provide the hyperlink in this presentation. You just have to click on it, and here is the full collection with the more recent ones at the bottom. So I think especially the later ones talk a lot about licensing, standalone install of the Inventor Professional, standalone install of the tooling product, and a network installation of Inventor. So I think very good reading and very good watching material for anyone that wants to learn more about install and licensing. So enough with publicity. Let's look at a couple of new elements that popped up in general. So first of all, there is an issue in 2011 with the consistent material library. This is a library that we use throughout several products, AutoCAD, Revit, Inventor, to name a few. And if that material library is not cleaned up from the beta, you might have problems installing the RTM product. So we created a technical solution 144.05892 around it. So please give it a reading before you attempt to install. The other issue that still is not resolved in 2010 service packs is when you want to merge a service pack, when you want to apply a service pack after applying a deployment image that used a merge. We wrote a technical solution for this way back in 2008, but in my opinion this technical solution is still valid for the 2009 and 2010 products. Have a look at this technical solution. So it clearly points towards 2008, but I would say don't worry too much about this. It's more general than that. Hopefully we can update this document before we release. And you see you have to do some registry intervention to make Inventor believe that service pack, the service pack is there, or the service pack is not there yet. The good news is that the defect is fixed in 2011. And finally, as a general item, I want to bring up here that you have to be aware that we are going away from the delivery of boxes more and more, so the electronic software download will gradually replace box shipments. So here in 2011, I think by default we only do it electronically, but I think the user can ask for boxes, but it's becoming more and more the exception rather than the rule. A couple of Windows 7 related issues that came up in the past couple of months. The first and foremost important one that we encountered was with Excel. There were several problems with Excel actually. You cannot link an Excel file to the parameter dialog in Service Pack 2 when you work with Windows 7. The defect is under control and will get fixed in the upcoming Service Pack 3 release. The phenomenon that you will see is that when you hit the insert button in order to link the spreadsheet to the parameter dialog, you see something coming up that says not implemented. That is typical a sign of this problem. We posted a solution script for the problem on the news group via one of our programmers, and I'll show you the news group posting questions. It's also hyperlinked to this presentation, so feel free to go there. And so one of our programmers here did a whole explanation on how to fix it. He even provided a script on how to do so. And the script copies some entries in the registry from the 32-bit portion of the registry to the 64-bit portion of the registry. And after running the script, you can run Excel as before. The full procedure you can either go and read on the newsgroup, or I've even replicated here in my presentation. So you need to tell PowerShell that it's okay to run scripts. So you need to open PowerShell and assign all kind of admin rights. Then you set the execution policy to unrestricted. Run the script. The script is attached, has a resource here. In PowerShell, you run the script by specifying the full path to the script. It will prompt you, just answer yes. When the script finishes, you can type exit to exit PowerShell. To remove the workaround, you can run the script again and answer the questions accordingly. If you want to reset the PowerShell execution policies back to default, you just set execution policy default in the PowerShell and answer yes. A long story, but I propose that you read the newsgroup post. I think it's clearer than even this presentation. Another problem we had was with the open file dialog, where you had some difficulty selecting files in open file dialog when working on Windows 7, and when you use the versions 2010 to 2010 SP1. You could either no file was selectable, or you had to select multiple files or click on multiple files first, or even nothing was showing up in the file dialog. Most of these problems are fixed in Service Pack 2. Concerning licensing with Windows 7, there is one big problem that I want to point out is with not being able to obtain network licenses on a Windows 7 workstation. We created a technical solution for this, and I want to show you that technical solution here. The solution involves going in the firewall and setting some inbound rules in the advanced settings, and also working with the ports in this tool. For full details, read technical solution 139.10040. And that ends the Windows 7 related issues. On the licensing side, there is one issue that springs to mind, and it has to do with tube and pipe content. You can insert tube and pipe content in the regular fashion with the tube and pipe module, but there is also another method where you could think of using tube and pipe content is to use it as any other content, like any fastener. You just go to the content center and insert it from the content center. So this slide talks about this particular process where you use tube and pipe content outside of the tube and pipe module, and you just insert it as regular content. The problem that surfaced in 2010 is that in order to do this, we consume an AIP license, basically. You will see when you try to do this, in the worst scenario is when no AIP license is available and you only have, for instance, an AIS license. It should be perfectly possible to do this, but instead you get a dialog box that will pop up with the message, a valid license could not be obtained by the network license manager. The place from content center command really tries to consume needlessly a higher license. So it tries to get a routed systems license or an AIP license, and it shouldn't. This is clearly a regression compared to Inventor 2009, when you could do this type of operation without and you were just consuming an AIS license. The workaround that we know of is not a very nice one, but it is a workaround. If you want to use this scenario on a regular basis, please unload the TubePipe add-in prior to inserting TubePipe content with the place from content center command. A second issue with licensing is a smaller issue, and I don't think a lot of people will see this, but it has to do with timing and uninstall. The FlexNet service remains in use for about 1.5 minutes after Inventor exits. So for those of you that are fast movers and they attempt an uninstall they try an uninstall, you might see an error dialog within those 1.5 minute period, and the dialog has a particular error number, so it's 1:5-2, and it tells you that the service is in use, and the message at the bottom is please try again later. Well, exactly, this is exactly the solution that I propose. Do as stated in the dialog, wait at least 1.5 minutes and try the uninstall after that, and you will be fine. That concludes the licensing aspects that popped up in the past couple of months. Concerning deployments and permissions, there are a couple of items that I want to draw your attention to. First of all, classic error codes like 1402, 1406, and a less occurring error code 1321. I want to illustrate these codes with a real-life example that I personally ran into. Subscription release is another topic I want to touch upon, and some viewer product issues. First of all, the error codes 1402 and 1406. They are typically related to the lack of permissions to write to the registry. So you would be tempted to use the registry editor from Microsoft. What I'm advocating here is to use something slightly better, and that is a tool called PS Tools. Why would you want to use PS Tools instead of regedit to restore permissions? Well, here is a sample scenario that I ran into. During the uninstall of Service Pack 2 on Vista, I ran into an error 1402. At some point, the error clearly points towards a registry key that could not be opened, typically a very obscure key. If I do due diligence and I look up in our knowledge base if we have any known issues around the error 1402, I probably find this particular technical solution, which is 1406, but it talks about a similar issue, could not write the value to key. What we propose in this solution is to do a regedit and do our business there and tweak the permissions. Well, when I tried to follow this this particular workflow in an attempt to solve my problem, it did not work for me. So I'll show you what did work in this case. Instead of using the regular regedit, I used a more powerful procedure. I downloaded the Microsoft PS Tools utilities. The utility can be found on this website. I'll show you the website here. So it was written by Mark Rusinovich. It's an easy download. It's all free. You can do a lot of stuff with it. But one of these commands that I will be used in here is the ps exec command, is the first one. So the exact syntax here is you can read from here, and this starts the reg editor, but in a particular fashion, and then you can start doing your permission work in there. In my case, I gave everyone full control on that particular local machine hive. And so I select permissions and added everyone with full permissions. Then clicked OK and tried uninstall, and worked fine. The install went fine until one point near the end where I got another error message 1321, where Windows once again has insufficient privileges. And this error is in fact a Microsoft defect on Vista. I was doing this on a Vista machine, and you can read all about this in this KB here to solve the issue. And we also have a technical solution 1089546 around this that I'm displaying here just for your reference. So you see all the pitfalls you can run into. One small operation of uninstalling resulted in two different errors. Luckily they are documented for most of the time in our knowledge base. The other topic I want to briefly touch upon is on build numbers. We have a kind of a proliferation of different versions on top of 2010. You see it here from the table. We have the RTM version 2010, which was build number 223B. Then we came on the market with Service Pack 1, which is 253D. The subscription release, which is 540A. So make a note of the fact that the subscription release build numbers start with 5 something, and then Service Pack 2 has build number 260, and Service Pack 2 on the subscription release as build number 544. You might ask, where can I find this information if I wouldn't have seen your presentation? Well, you can kind of deduct this information from the README file. I'm showing you here the Service Pack 2 README file, and you see at the beginning of the README file we show the build numbers most of the time, not always. Even more important is the install sequence. Once you have the build numbers under control, you have to be aware also of the sequence you install the service packs in. For instance, the subscription release Service Pack 2 cannot be installed on top of the regular SP1. The correct installation sequence is, you have, in this case, if you have to uninstall SP2 first. If you have SP2 installed, this puts you back at the SP1 level. Then you can install the subscription release. On top of the subscription release, you can install the Service Pack 2 for the subscription release. I've provided the links to where you can find these things, and I've even provided a table, a summarizing table of where you can find the different service packs for 2010 release for the different operating systems, 32-bit versus 64-bit. The table here on the left is for the 2010 release. If you have a subscription customer, he has a slightly different install path, also for 32-bit on the left and 64-bit on the right. with all the links to where you can find these versions. Viewer products is another topic that regularly comes up. I wanted to just draw your attention to the repair facility for the viewers, both for TrueView and Inventor View. It might be confusing when you attempt a repair of these products, and the confusion remains in 2011. So first of all, if you try to repair TrueView, this results in this particular dialog. It tells you to insert a disk drive. In this dialog you see a reference to a disk drive, but the dialog doesn't give you any clue which disk you need to insert. The remedy in this case is to mount disk 1. A similar situation exists with Inventor View product, where you get also a dialog on a repair, and it talks about a disk, and then it gives you like the choice, and it tells you DVD 1 of 6. Well, actually you have to mount disk number 6 in this case to get out of this situation. My advice to all of you would be is to, rather than attempting the repair for these relatively short products, it's probably beneficial to uninstall instead of doing the repair. I think it will, in the end, it doesn't create that much confusion, and it doesn't take that long. Another aspect of viewers is the deployment of Inventor View 2010. Sometimes I get the questions, how can I deploy Inventor View from the command line? What users want to do is they want to avoid the full-blown install wizard, and they don't want to do this on each and every machine where they want to install Inventor View on. And Inventor View typically is installed on multiple machines to view Inventor files. It's a free product, and it allows you to see Inventor View files, and you don't need the full product to get the viewer. So the procedure I propose is to download first of all the Inventor View from this location here that I point out. The kit is not only the viewer, it contains both design tracking and the Apprentice API. It's a standalone free kit. And then the key commands here I've highlighted in yellow. You can create a simple batch file with these two commands in it. There are two commands in it. One is for the core MSI, and the second line is for the language pack MSI. Both commands are required. And the other thing you need to be aware of is, don't attempt this on a machine that doesn't have .NET installed. So .NET is required in order to run above commands. It could very well be that you try to install this or to run this batch file on a machine that has never seen Inventor or never seen an Autodesk product. So the chances are relatively high that you don't have the .NET framework on those machines. So we normally offer that component through our install wizard, but because the whole process here bypasses the install wizard, I think you might need to download the .NET component from the Microsoft location that I've given here as a hyperlink.